Okay, that's going, and then I am going to stream this bad boy out. Give me 1 second. And we'll see if I can break the internet. At least not that bad. We're going to go 6th grade. Smiley faces. This is the 9th. 20, and we're going to go live here. So yes, it is live. Yep, meeting is now streaming. So you guys are actually live on the YouTubes right now. You are now a streamer. Whatever. Anyway, so what we're going to do is we're going to talk about genetics. I really wanted to start with a different lab this week, but my boss kind of put a hammer down on that and said, hey, they might not have enough time to get to everything. And I said, okay, sure, that's fine. No bad feelings hurt here, but we will do it next week. And next week, you're going to have a few more things you're going to need, because we're going to do probably one of my favorite, and I see Mr. Hobbles there, one of his, maybe his more favorite 6th grade lessons, which is extracting DNA from fruits. It's a lot of fun. It is great. You're going to do it at home. Usually we make most of it for you. You're actually going to do it yourself. It is easy. It doesn't take any specific equipment, but we'll talk about that later. And the reason why we want to talk about DNA first is because that's what actually codes everything for us. And so when we look at a smiley, we're going to make a smiley face using genetics. Now, we all know that we probably look something like our mom, something like our dad. Maybe you look like your brother or sister, okay? Maybe some of you look more like an aunt or uncle. Is that the end of the world? Probably not, okay? I'm gonna see if I have that picture. I changed phones, so I may or may not have those pictures. Give me 1 second here. I'm gonna skim through. Well, you can't see them. They have masks on. That's somebody ready. Oh, there's my phone. Those are kids getting stuff. I'm trying to find good pictures of like my kids. Okay. Stinks. There's a great picture of me and my siblings too. I don't think she even has it. Oh, my wife is killing me. Okay, so that's really dark. All right, we'll do that. So if you look more like your brother or sister, great. If you look like your mom and dad, awesome. Are you really surprised if you look more like your mom or your dad or your brother or sister? Maybe not. Maybe you know, maybe you don't know. It's kind of a neat thing to do. I always laugh because my brother says that we don't look that much alike, which we really actually kind of do. There's some similarities there. Sorry, I'm trying to get used to my newer phone here, guys. I like it, but it's also kind of a pain. There's my gallery. Things. My kid is now a thing. All right, awesome. Sport places, food. No. 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 Well, this is great. All right, so let's say that this is a picture of my kiddo here. All right, that's one of the two. All right, there she is. All right, awesome. You can kind of see any similarities there. Well, that's glary. There we go. There's some there, but not a whole lot. My son kind of looks like me. At least I know that they got the better genetics for my wife. So when we look at it, okay, we may know those things, we may not know those things. It's not the end of the world, okay? If you know those things, cool. Maybe look at Mr. Hobble's kids, you can get there. So when we talk about these things, we talk about what we can see, and usually we focus on characteristics or traits, okay? Things that we can see, hair color, eye color, body shape, height, all those things. And you get it without having any input from your parents. Didn't get a choice. Unfortunately, I'm 5'9", about 180. I'm not Mr. Hobble height. I'm not like 6'1", okay? I'm probably not going to be 6 foot ever. I'm probably done growing. I think by my age, I think I'm done. If I hit 6'2", I'm going to be very questioning what's going on, or I need to have growth hormone checks, all right? So those are just some of the things that go on. If you're taller now, great. If you're shorter now, that's fine, okay? Just because you're shorter now does not mean that you're going to be shorter forever, okay? unless you're my sister. But no, I'm kidding. Anyway, but when we look at these things, we're going to be working with this worksheet, and this worksheet is what's going to tell us what's going on. So if I switch over here to my view, all right here, this is my worksheet, and I'll leave it up for you guys. Notice it has 2 columns, all right? This is our trait, our characteristic that we're going to see right here. And this is going to be our heads column. This is going to be our tails column. You get 1 flip per trait. Because think about it. Do you get to keep flipping coins until you get what you want? No. All right. I don't think I had a choice of what characteristics my kids got. I don't think, since I just see you, Mr. Havel, I'm not picking on you. I don't think you really had a choice with that. Though the random chance of having 3 girls is about 13% if you were to take 8 families with 3 kids. Lucky you, I guess. See, my wife's sister, okay, my in-laws, they have one of her sisters has 4 girls. So again, that's a 1/2, 1/2, 1/2, 1, a 1 in 16 chance, which is about 7%, okay? So remember, being a boy or a girl is a 50-50% chance. Now, I want to ask you a question. Throw your answers up in that chat box real quick. I would like to see, which parent do you think is responsible for determining if you're a male or female? So when parents combine to produce offspring, and this goes for all things, not just humans, which parent is responsible for determining whether it's a male or female? Is it the male or is it female? What do you think? I just want to see what people think. Dad, male, female. Okay, I've got 2 males, 1 female. This is where you get to throw out your ideas. Got 3 male, 4 males. Ooh, a couple females there. No, I think you meant male, female. Looks kind of like we've got a 50-50 split, which isn't surprising. Okay, so let's look at it. I'm gonna flip this over here real quick. So if I were to look at this, okay, if I am a male, when we look at male chromosomes, they always talk about males having a Y chromosome. So males have an X and a Y, okay? That's just how they label it. It actually, under a microscope, looks like an X and a Y. Females have an X and an X. So when I divide this in half, when any reproduction happens, this goes for any males, any species, okay? For a male, 1 cell might have an X and the other would have a Y. If I'm a female, the only thing produced by females are cells that have X's. So which is the only one that can produce something that's different? Be your male, okay? Because you're always going to get 1 X chromosome from your mom, always. So this X will always be from your mom. This difference right here, the X or the Y, comes from your dad. So if you don't like being male, blame your dad. If you don't like being female, blame your dad. So really, that's how it goes, all right? So when we look at this real quick, you're going to flip your coin. Heads will be hard to see, all right? Heads will be this left column. Tails will be this right column. And you're just going to flip a coin for each one. Now, if you have the sheet, great. Go ahead and circle what you get. That's fine. If you don't have this sheet, take your other sheet of paper and then just write it off to the side. So I'm going to do this like I don't have my sheet. So I will leave this picture up for you. You'll be fine. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and flip it here. Let's see. I got heads, so that means this is going to be a girl. And I'm going to keep flipping. That was a terrible flip, but I'm going to count it anyway. Tails, oval face, And then I'm just going to keep going all the way down. All right. Then I go to eye shape. Whoops, I totally launched it. Tails. Eye shape is going to be oval and things like that. So what I would do if I had this sheet, it would be circle, circle, circle here, and I would write girl. I would write oval. I'm going to write oval here. And we just kind of keep going through that. You're just going to go straight through this whole thing, flip with your coins, write down what you get. Easy enough, guys? All right. If you have questions, go ahead and ask. I'll give you a couple seconds here. If you have questions, let me know. Write down if you're not clear on what to do there. This is a good time to ask questions if you're confused. Just pause here. Looks like everybody's got it. Looking at faces, it looks like everybody's got it. I'm going to go with that. Okay, so don't see any questions. I'm going to jump back to my screen here real quick. Okay, so you do that for all of your parts. Then what you're going to do is you are going to not be a cheater and change anything. So once you've got it, you've got it. You're stuck with it. Sorry. Tough luck. All right. The only other thing to know that you have a girl, put a bow in your smiley face's hair. That way you know it's a girl. Because we know that there are males with long hair. We know that there are females with short hair. All right. Just so we know the difference, put a bow. And then you can draw it any way you like it using your characteristics. All right. Just don't change anything and don't be a cheater. All right. Don't be that person. The only other weird thing to think about, okay, when I say dark or light eye color, okay, dark eye color could be anything like brown, or even I would put green. Green actually does fit in the dark color. Light could be anything like hazel, blue, or could you even have light green in there? Could. Even light brown, I would consider it, but technically it's dark, but we're not going to argue that. All right, long hair, short hair, straight hair, curly hair. Again, dark hair, light hair. Dark would be your browns. All right, what would be some light hair colors? There's a couple obvious. What do you think? What are some light hair colors? Light brown kind of is in here. Any other light hair colors that you know? Okay, blonde, yes, definitely blonde would go there. There's one other light hair color that is kind of, you don't really think of it as a lawn. Yeah, the peachish reddish, yes, absolutely. Red hair fits underneath of the light hair color. Because you can dye and cheat, ladies, mainly. Okay, you can dye and cheat for the most part, your hair color. All right, but when we look at other things, okay, light hair colors would be those blondes and reds. Okay, big, small smile, however you want it, curved, pointy ears, however you want to draw it, you can make it look like an elf. Okay, the nose style for drawing this, just to have fun with this, make their noses a triangle shape. So this would be a triangle pointing up, this would be a triangle pointing down, and then nose color, you can color it a light color or a dark color. I think once I did it, I used to do purple or pink, just for fun, make it a dark color or a light color, and just have fun with it. So if I start with mine, I would start with an oval face shape. So if I start with an oval face shape, does it have to be perfect? Absolutely not. We're sketching. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a few minutes. I'm going to leave this here for you guys. Can everybody see that okay? I think you can see all of that there. I'm going to leave that there for you, ladies and gentlemen, so you can go ahead and flip your coin and write down your characteristics. If you have questions while you do this, let me know. I'll gather up in about 5 or 6 minutes, and then we'll kind of talk about what we're drawing here and then see if you've got any starts. So go ahead and begin, ladies and gentlemen. Go ahead. And so while you're working, you can ask questions. If I had catchy music, I would play catchy music back behind here, but I don't have any, nor do I want to get burned by copyright issues. Sing a song? Oh no, you don't want to hear me sing a song. It'd be scary. If you want to go ahead and start drawing, go ahead and start drawing. Go for it. Go for it. Please feel free to start drawing. That way, if you want to share your drawing, even if it's bad and or terrible, that's fine. I have no problems with that because mine are going to be just about as bad, if not worse. I think, Mr. Havel, for those of you Thayer Central people, I think you said just submit your Google document. We'll take care of the drawing next week. Oh, I got curly hair. Whoops. I goofed that up. There, you can watch as I do my terrible drawing. Should probably draw some ears first. See, this is why I'm not an artist. This looks like a mullet. I feel like I'm drawing Billy Ray Cyrus right now. It's a reference for everybody. When I think of oval, I just think of like regular human eyeball. Wow, that is really creepy. That's why I don't get paid to do this stuff. It's like a serial killer. Sorry. Looks really bad. There you go. See, that's creepy. Either that or she's got a huge forehead. That's why you guys have a great art teacher. That's why I'm a science teacher, not an artist. I'm draw some polka dots. See, I've got dark eye color. Gather up in about a minute or two, guys. We'll see where you are. Draw a big old goofy smile here. Boy, this looks really creepy. Just so you know. Oh, last trait. Nose color is the last trait. So it's light or dark. That's the last one. Good question. Thank you. It's hard to get them all in there easily, but thank you for asking politely. That's awesome. Triangle down. That is terrible. That is wild looking. That looks really creepy. All right, let's go ahead and stop here real quick. You can tell, look how creepy I drew mine. Obviously super creepy. That is really, really scary. Please don't draw as bad as what I did. This one I will be hiding forever, if not burning. Yeah, that's pretty bad. So take your time with it, have fun with it, and at least draw it better than I did, because literally I am pretty bad at art. I'll be honest. Well, there's some things I can do okay, and some things I can't. Just have fun with it, enjoy it, anything. Are there any questions about this chart at all? Any questions you guys had? Did everybody get all of these? You're welcome for the shirt. It is one of my favorite. One saber, two saber. Thank you. You finally got it. Good job. One of my favorites. One saber, two saber, red saber, blue saber. You're welcome. I do have a collection of interesting shirts that have interesting sayings. No questions on this? No questions? Awesome. Great. Okay. Keep up with your drawings. I would like to see pictures of it. I know some of you are like, oh, I can't art very good. Even the ones that are kind of silly are fun. Have fun with it. Make it comical. Those of you who are great artists, have fun with it. Make it look amazing. I love to see some of your guys' art. I know a couple years ago, or even the past year, when I tend to go out to the state fair, I see some of the Thayer Central kids. I see Fairbury kids. I see everybody, people I run across from areas that we know, and it's really amazing to see some of the art that people can do. I mean, that's just not one of my things I can do very well. It's just, well, let me rephrase that. You can actually art, you can actually draw and do those things. The only thing it takes is practice. Okay, so one thing I do want to make a mention of, so go ahead and put your pens, pencils down, and this is kind of an interesting thing to think about. I looked this up. I didn't find any really good articles, but this is actually from Wikipedia, and yes, I know Wikipedia is not the greatest of sources, but it is an interesting thing to look at, because when you look at it, this is talking about designer babies. Now, when we talk about genetics, what we can see, what we can do, we actually have the technology to modify your DNA and your genes, which genes are not the pants you wear, but genes are what control what shows up. That'll be more of a 7th grade thing. Is that we can go in and tweak those genes to either get rid of certain genetic disorders. Okay, some genetic disorders would be things like, okay, the most obvious one is like Down syndrome is probably one of the most obvious ones because it is easy to see with the facial features, all of those things. Okay, not picking on those people, I'm just making a case of it. That's one type of genetic disorder that you know. There are so many others out there. Even cancers have some genetic makeup to them. So if we knew where, like, okay, imagine your life is an instruction book. And if we knew where in the instruction book you have some wrong words that tell you how to make it, and those set of words or instructions create cancers later in life, if we knew how to cut that out and paste in a new set of instructions, we can. Now, the hard question is, and this is the great question to think about, when we do that, should we be really messing with how nature works? Because we've already done it with our plants. And I'm going to stand up here real quick. All right. We happen to have done it already with our plants. Okay. My wife got a whole bunch. I want to find some different ones. Okay. Oh, that's golden crust. That one. That one. Sorry, I'm trying to find some different ones. Oh, there it is. Perfect. I got it. We've already done it with our seeds. We've already done it with plants a ton. In fact, if you know anything about the history of corn, which I bet none of you do, I had to do it for a class, okay, is that we have modified it so much. It's a grass, but we've modified it and tweaked it so much. In fact, for a lot of you people who are on farms, you would know that a lot of them are Roundup resistant. So that means you can spray tons of Roundup, which is a weed killer, and it won't kill your corn. But if we were to look, if you go to anywhere, okay, look at these types of sweet corn. Okay, I've got these sweet corns. Are they all the same? No, not really, okay? These are all sweet corn, but they are all hybrids. They have all been crossed. They have all been tweaked genetically. Every time we save seeds, like for the tallest or the one that produces the most, we are selecting for certain characteristics that we want to show up. The more corn that these produce, we want to keep those seeds, right? Because they're going to produce more corn next year. So when we think about it in humans, if we start selecting for certain characteristics, are we throwing off the natural flow and the natural production of life? And what it gets into is a really tricky part, something you have to think about. It's called ethics, meaning determining if it is actually right or wrong to do this. And designer babies were actually done by a scientist in China last year. Undercover, kind of questionable. 2 twin girls were born to a mother. He had gone in and edited the cell lines of the fertilized egg, which was implanted into the mother. The science community really didn't like that because right now, we don't know if that's right because we have to think about these things, all right? What is it going to do to our society? What's going to happen if we take out the ability of nature to choose what does and doesn't survive? There's something called natural selection. Okay, it's not the strongest survival. It's not necessarily that. It's things that have the right characteristics to survive. Right now, with the coronavirus that is floating around, yeah, it's scary, it stinks, it's not much fun. We're working our way against it. I want to make one point. If we didn't have the measures in place, there would be a lot more problems and there would be a lot more deaths. We're kind of seeing what happens when nature starts to take over a little bit and fights back against all the changes that we make. There's also the problem of where did this virus come from? And if we as humans are infringing on animals where it would stay in animals, which they're kind of talking about that's where it could have come from, if we are intermingling, we're kind of getting into their space, and now things that they had that were contained over here are now spreading back out when it shouldn't have been. So there's a lot of questions and a lot of issues when it comes to appearances, inheriting things, and is it right or wrong to make these changes? You know what? We've done this for tens of thousands of years. We've turned a grass that produced some edible seeds into a great, beautiful, straight road, delicious sweet corn plant that grows about, what, 5, 6, 8 feet? We have farmers that are able to plant weed killer resistant corn plants. But again, we have to ask the question, is that right for the environment? Is it right for us? All of those things. Big questions. So next week, here's what you're going to need. You might want to write this down real quick, okay? For next week, you're going to need a few things, and I'll write it down too. So I know I'm kind of leaving you with some deep thoughts. Sorry, guys, if I'm leaving you with some deep thoughts, but it is a big thing. And if you have questions about that, please feel free to write them in. I will answer them. I might shut off the feed, but I will answer any of those genetic questions that you might have, any ethics questions. We can discuss it. It's not a problem. So for next week, all right, I'm going to switch my view here real quick. Okay. For next week, for our DNA, whoops, you can't see that. Sorry, guys. So for our DNA extraction, it is going to be a little bit messy, so you're going to need to be ready to go. All right. Here's what you'll need. You're either going to need a strawberry or a piece of banana, about the size of your thumb. Okay? Fresh and thawed would be great. All right? You're going to need one plastic baggie, sandwich size. All right? You're going to need either a paper towel, which we could make it work, or if you have a small coffee filter. Okay. And I love this lesson. It's fun. We'll do it all together. It's going to be great. Even if you can't do it, guess what? You can watch along with us, and we can do it. You can do it on your own. Okay. Small coffee filter. You'll need like a small cup. Like one of those plastic Dixie cups are awesome. Okay. If you happen to have rubbing alcohol, you're going to put it in the freezer. And you'll see why. All right. You're going to need a toothpick. And then you're going to make probably the most weird thing you're going to make. You're going to make what's called a buffer. And it's really interesting. You don't need a whole lot of it. But what you're going to do is you're going to mix 10% shampoo, 90% water. And you don't need much at all. So if I were to do this, let me see if I can have a small cup. Hang on one second. Which I think I do. Give me 1 second. Okay, so I've got this cup right here. Check it out. It's Peppa Pig. Why not? What can I say? All right, so if I'm going to make, you only really need this about half to 2/3 full. So let's say I make this about 2/3 full. All right, here's my max line, okay? I'm going to put about this much shampoo, okay? I'm going to put this much water. Does that look like it's about 90-10 split? Okay, that's what I want. And then you're going to put a large pinch of salt. Make a really, so if you've ever, okay, when it comes to measuring salt, I'm a little strange. I don't use a teaspoon. If you fill the palm of your hand to about the size of a quarter, that's about what you want to dump in there. Okay, let me show you that again. Fill your palm full of about this much salt, and then just dump it in your cup. Swirl it around, stir it with your finger, stir it with your toothpick. It'll be beautiful. Let me think. Is there anything else that I missed? All right, got a baggie because we're going to squish that. Then we're going to put the buffer in there, squish it again. We'll filter it into that small cup. And you'll put rubbing alcohol in there, and then you'll twirl it. Perfect. Okay. There is what you need. Okay. I will email that out to teachers so they can spread it out to you guys. It is entirely possible that it may fail. I did this actually for one group before we went on our no school hiatus, or sorry, my bad, alternative education hiatus. It actually did fail. It's entirely possible. You do want strawberries. If you can get a hold of a strawberry, great. If it's a frozen one, fantastic. Bananas will work too. Strawberries are the best. You may say, well, can I use a different fruit? We've tried it. It doesn't work as well. You want strawberries. You want bananas. Okay. So with that, I'm going to end the video. I'm going to end the stream for you guys. If you have questions, please feel free to let me know. Fire away questions. If not, you can go ahead and leave. Have a great week, guys. Stay warm. It's supposed to get really cruddy. Thanks, guys. Excellent work. Thank you so much, guys. Have a great week. We'll see you. Actually next week, same time, same place. Bye, guys.